I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
All right, guys, here we go. Perennial, the Perennial Desire, Imperishable. Let's do it. Imperishable.
Death metal. Here's the intro.
Here is the logic for why we just got done listening to this song, dear listener. I'm taking care of some unfinished business that I wanted done with the first half of this stream. I had originally wanted to debut this next band during an Imperishable Flame stream. The reason for it will become abundantly clear when Sori reads the band's name, which is Imperishable. Now that there's links available, we're going to finally do this song. The band is from the unofficial capital of death metal itself, Sweden. Okay, so that is the background for why this was selected. Guys, if
by
you,
our
if,
DJ
if you hear an echo,
on the top. Shout out to DJ
please
Ben.
tell me, type 22 if you hear an echo, dear listener. Okay, speaking of echoes, the song start... Yep.
Cool, pick up. Yeah, okay, so this song I thought was really, what did Dwayne? Dwayne, what? I thought Vin and Sori were Christians. What? Wait, it's blocking. Yet they listen to devil's music, throwing up horns. Typical Christians.
The
I only got part of it because some of it was hidden behind another tab.
That's what Rasulullah said. You're on the branch of Nifaq.
He said what?
You're on the branch of Nifaq.
Nifaq?
Yeah, you know, being a hypocrite. We had this conversation.
Yeah, but Nifaq.
All day
I don't
long.
remember
Nifaq.
the word. Yeah, but
Because you're a munafiq
yeah.
if you practice being a nifaq, which is hypocrisy. So mu functions like ER. Like skater, one who skates the ER.
So it's one
So
who is a
the
hypocrite.
prefix mu is one who commits said action.
Oh. Okay.
Hence the term Muslim. The Arabic term is Istislam, means submit to Allah.
Yeah, submission, right?
But if you submit to Allah, you become a Muslim or a submitter. That's what Muslim means, is a submitter.
Oh,
So the MU functions like ER.
interesting. Okay.
All right.
Makes sense. Munafiq.
So munafiq. So nifaq is hypocrisy. Munafiq
Hey, babe, that word
is
sounds
one
funny,
who
okay?
practices hypocrisy. Anyway, there's your Arabic grammar lesson for
Thank
today.
you. We appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, so this song, I thought, like, you know, when he says echoes in the far distance in remembrance of what used to be. Weathered by storms and days, his demons cluster. Okay, I felt that this person lost something. Like echoes in the distance in remembrance of what used to be. So there's something that's far off in his memories of the way things used to be, and he's kind of like looking at it like it's echoing. And usually whenever something echoes from the far distance, it can be, you know, because it was a wonderful memory, but it can also be because there was a loss involved. And so you keep kind of going back to that loss, trying to maybe find what you lost and bring it back. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we talked about this. Is there's trauma, and then there's what you did to get out of the trauma.
Exactly.
And what ends up happening is, especially when people talk about mental health, a lot of people focus on the trauma, rightly so, but they don't focus on the unhealthy defense mechanism that people deployed in order to stay alive. So that's the reaction to the trauma is almost at times more dangerous than the trauma itself, because we know common sense, like, oh, you've never seen anyone shot before. Now you're seeing someone shot. That's trauma.
Right.
I get it. But what that person has to do mentally to say, well, I'm in the Bronx, this is probably going to happen again, so I've got to do something up here to make it so that I don't freak out the next time that happens. And you know what? That kind of like disconnected sort of wall that you have with people when you have those kinds of situations are absolutely relevant. And to this day, I think I did the right thing. Like, I had the right mentality to survive in that hostile environment. But I think I'm going to have to work a lifetime trying to undo those same defense mechanisms, because I don't think that they were healthy. They were, I mean, really, the solution was to become a desensitized individual. And when you do that, you have a hard time building relationships after that. And so, like, the closest friends I've had in my life were those guys. But that's because we were all in the sheer trauma. outside of that situation, I've had an extremely difficult time making actual genuine connections with people until I chose another line of work, and where, oh, this is dangerous, you could die tomorrow. So people, it's like I said, in the little Suko village over there in Syria, and everyone's kind of locked in, and there's no time for bullshit. Because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to me. Like, I recognize that about myself. It's like, it's at the point now where, before the New York experience, I was not like that. Before the New York experience, my art was like very, very open to a lot of people. But, I mean, and you see how I am with strangers. Like, if they get hurt, like, I hate seeing people get hurt, like, really hurt, And, like, so anyway, like I said, it's when I look at myself, I'm like, yo, your deepest relationships were those kind of contexts, and you don't really have very deep relationships outside of that.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting.
And so I wasn't like that before New York. See what I'm saying? I have a whole history of myself prior to landing in New York, and I was completely different. So those short years, it wasn't long. It was 6 years. Those short years really shaped my entire life for the rest, and it's because of the way I responded to the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, like, if they hear my story, and my story is particularly dramatic or whatever, people go, oh man, and it's like, nobody's asking, like, okay, if you're still here, that means you developed a bunch of defense mechanisms that many of which are going to be unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's healthy ways of dealing with trauma, like, going it deeper into your religion, meditation, that type of thing. There are healthy things where it's like, if a person continues this for 20 years, it's going to make them a balanced person.
Yeah.
And then there are other defense mechanisms where it's like, if this person continues this for 20 years,
it's destructive. Yeah.
He's going to be gone in 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be no 20 years. So
yep.
When it says, weathered by storms and days, his demons cluster. A lot of times when people talk about personal demons, and obviously we're Christians, everybody knows, like, I believe that there are literally beings in this universe, in our reality, not this universe, in reality. Okay, let's say it that way. that are, but when I hear personal demon, that's not what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking when I hear about personal demon is a habituated sort of thing that you do that is destructive, that you want to quit, but has this sort of power over you that you can't kind of overcome. Or it's this Achilles heel in your personality that no matter how far you get, you're going to revert back to doing some dumb shit that fucks everything up for you. And like, I used to be terrified that was what was going to happen to me. So I remember being in the hospital and being like, well, I can either die or I can listen to what this woman is saying and try to get some insight so I can learn to do this life shit. Yeah. And so, I listened to what she had to say because I was going to be dead otherwise. You see what I'm saying? I was in the hospital for that reason. So when he says, like, he's got these demons that are clustered and it's weathered by storms and days, that's what I'm talking about. He's got this thing that he's been doing to weather all these storms, but now he's recognizing them as demons. Mm-hmm. And that takes a long time for people to get sometimes.
Yeah, I think sometimes what you go to kind of like make it through a situation, I think you're right. Like, I think sometimes that thing can end up becoming an obsession. I guess, like, one thing that I'm realizing for my life is that when I get into situations that end up like not being so good for me, I start praying now. And I, for a while, had gotten out of the habit of doing that. And whatever habit you get into, like, basically, like, we're creatures of comfort. And so we're looking for comfort when a bad situation pops off. So whatever your defense mechanism is, it's a way for you to find some stasis in a situation, some comfort in a situation. And so people have their go-tos. So if your go-to is something that's destructive for you, it doesn't matter. Like, even though it's destructive, it can still be your comfort. And the more that you do it, the more your mind acclimates to that being your comfort. And so, I was having to like revamp my mind to go back to, because I used to be like a person that would pray in the middle of a situation, and then I got away from doing that. And so I started noticing I was picking up habits that I felt like were definitely destructive for sure for my future. And so I'm like, okay, I've got to start dispensing with these things and going back. And it was crazy because, you know, the other night something happened, and I was like, immediately started feeling like a certain way internally about stress and whatever. But then immediately I was like, oh, but I can pray about this. And like right when I started praying, it wasn't that my prayer was instantly answered. It wasn't. But it was that I knew where I could go, that I could find that comfort. And it was like, it was really crazy when you have a healthy coping mechanism and you grab onto it and you like cope with that healthy coping mechanism. It has a crazy feeling. I don't know. It's totally different than grabbing onto something that's destructive, because something that's destructive has a fun vibe to it too, because it's like instantaneous. It's like right now you're feeling something different. But if you can, a lot of life, I think, is about sacrificing for different time periods. And so if you sacrifice the immediate comfort right now for the longevity of creating a better habit for yourself for a better future, then in the end, you're going to be the most comforted rather than, you know, carrying on with the destructive mentalities.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, trust me, ladies and gents, I understand more than anybody. It's easier said than done. You know, but I think
it's work.
I think one of the healthy things that we've discovered as a community is each other. And, you know, there's never been a time when somebody hasn't been like, yo, I'm going through this, where people aren't like, yo, we got you. Yeah. You know, we celebrate when people like, yo, I'm 18 months, like no alcohol. Like, yeah. These are the things that and the fascinating thing is like ultimately, especially for us in our community, it's the music, man. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I needed a moment. So I had like an hour and a half of just like bang. It's like, oh man, I love this music so much, dude. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like the music itself is I think it's better. Somebody said the song was comforting. And if you're not a metal person, like you just won't get it. And I hate saying it that way because it's like, oh, we're cool and exclusive, but it's you got to be a certain kind of person, you know. Like the stupidest thing I've ever heard the guys from Slipknot say is that he said, not everybody can be a Slipknot fan. You have to be chosen. And you know, this is winning friends and influencing people 101. Remember I told you about like Muhammad, he'd invent these titles and give it to these random nobodies, and now these people believe that they were the greatest, you know, thing in the world. Like, right, so much so that his closest friends would be jealous. Right. Brilliant. Like brilliant. Like, come on. So this song, man, is you're definitely looking at the darker side of life, but when you combine it with the excellence in their musicianship, that solo almost felt misplaced to me. Like there was a moment in the solo, like around like the 5th bar, where it like sounded like a power metal. Yeah, I agree. There was like a mix of power metal and the dude from Opeth or whatever, the Petrucci guy. I don't know the guy's name, but he's the guy that all the guitar, like every guitarist that I'm supposed to worship, I don't see the big deal. I don't see the Petrucci. I don't see it. Hendrix, I don't see it. Especially Hendrix. Slaying everybody right now. No, I'm not saying he's trash. I'm just saying I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing like, yo, this is the Michael Jordan of guitars here. Like, nah, the way that it was spoken of. Yeah. I feel like me personally, Dimebag Darrell is like the best guitarist in the world, like ever. Aside from Head. Head's in a different category. But Dime to me is way more moving as an artist than Jimi Hendrix. I mean, maybe it's blasphemous. I don't know. Anyway, you know, we're still millennials, so you gotta forgive my youthful stupidity. What do you give this song? So I am gonna give this song. Oh, look! The dude from Opeth, Petrucci. It was Dream Theater. I guess I'm gonna go with an 8.1. 8.1 for me. I'm going to go with an 8.4 with me. Looks like our stuff is going pretty smooth. Hey, Ben, do me a favor and check out that description. I'll see the rest of you bums on the other side of the break. How's that?